National Girls and Women in Sports Day celebrates the accomplishments and progress of women playing, coaching, and working in sports. This day honors the narrative that women belong in all aspects of sports. To celebrate here at the American, we're catching up with the first and only three-time American Volleyball Player of the Year, the only first-team All-American in the conference, and an Olympic gold medalist, the first in U.S. women's volleyball history. I'm now pleased to be joined by the former Cincinnati volleyball standout, Jordan Thompson. Jordan, first off, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. So you just told me you're out now in beautiful, sunny California, training with Team USA. How is that all going right now?
It's going really well. I'm happy to just be back in California, getting healthy, and just really thankful for the national team staff, and so really happy to be here.
Before we delve into the success that you had at the Olympics this year and the injury, unfortunately, that resulted in it, I want to take a look back. The young Jordan Thompson, when you think back to your earliest memory in sports, what is it?
I think of just a really tall, lanky girl, and just kind of, as I was growing up and starting my volleyball career, I just remember feeling like I was always trying to grow into my body, and then sort of felt like I hit that point in college where I was more comfortable and really started to blossom as a player. And so, yeah, it's really, really fun to look back and just, look at different pictures and stuff like that of when I was younger and just so skinny and lanky, but yeah.
When did Olympics, Team USA, first ever cross your mind?
When I was in college, I think that's when I realized that professional volleyball was something that I could do. I knew about the national team, but I didn't know so much about professional volleyball. And so that was something I really wanted to do. And then I realized, like, okay, maybe there's a chance that I could train with the national team one day. And so I kind of had this goal in my mind, and I never really admitted it to anybody. And then I think I was maybe a sophomore or junior. And I remember I think I told my husband, we were, I think, just dating at the time, but that I wanted to play with the national team one day. And I finally admitted it out loud. And then just the journey from, admitting that, and then not so long after, I was being invited to train with the national team. And then I was invited back to train during the summer and just making rosters, and then getting to the point where it got down to who's going to make that Olympic roster, and then having that meeting and hearing that I was going to go to the Olympics. It was just, everything happened so fast, but it was a really beautiful journey.
Speaking things into existence, they say it works, and it clearly did for you. To make the national team, be at the Olympics, you had 4 teammates who had won NCAA championships. How did their leadership really play a big part in your role coming in as the youngest player on your team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's so much experience on that team, and these are women that I just really look up to and respect. And so to have, not only their experience from their college years, but also from the national team. And I don't know how many of my teammates had already been to an Olympics previously. And so to have that experience and be able to lean on them and get that insight from them was so valuable. And I'm someone who loves to have a lot of information when I'm going into a new situation, so I could ask them all the questions I wanted about the Olympics. And so it was just really, really great to have all of their experience and insight and be able to lean on them in that way.
Playing at a school like Cincinnati in the American, not necessarily known for deep postseason runs in the NCAA, but for you, what moment when you think back to your college career can you single out to say, that's what helped me reach my goal and reach my full potential to be the player you are today?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily one moment, but just my journey as a whole. When I committed to Cincinnati, I think they had won 3 games that season. And so I knew that I was going to be going into a program that was rebuilding and had really big goals. And so that was something that really drew me in because I wanted to be a part of something special, and I wanted to build something just really, really beautiful. And so I think to be a part of that, to be a part of a program that was really in a rough spot, I guess, and to grow it into a program that, went to the Sweet 16, which was our big goal for that season. It was really special because I was able to look back and think about where we started when I came into the program, and then where I was when I was able to leave, how the program was left. And so I think, having all of that experience, it made me, I think, work even harder and realize that instant gratification isn't always what you see in everyday life with like sports. It's something that's over time, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of hard work and dedication. And so to be able to see that in my own journey, I think helps me to stay grounded in my professional career as well.
Fast forward and you're making the Olympics. You not just made the team, but you end up in the first 3 matches leading your team in scoring. In those moments, did you recognize the significance of really what you were doing and just what it meant really for the sport, for Cincinnati, and for your story?
I don't think I realized, and maybe I still don't realize how impactful that was. I think, a lot of people ask me like, well, how did you do that? Like, how did you come out and, it's your first Olympics and you just went for it? And I always think about my teammates and how much confidence they gave me. And, I knew that they had my back no matter what, whether I was playing the best game of my life or the worst game of my life. And so I think to have that support system, it really allowed me to grow and to blossom. And I think start to scratch the surface of who I have the potential to be as a player. And so I think it was really exciting to be able to do it on that stage and show, like, this is what Cincinnati's all about. We're about, having these people who can go on and not only be successful at Cincinnati, but also spread the word about Cincinnati beyond, and really, I think, continue to put Cincinnati on the map. And so I was really proud to be able to represent my school and that city and just be able to do it on that stage.
Unfortunately, after the early exit with your ankle injury, you've been really open on your social media, sharing your road to recovery. What's helped you really find your inner strength and coming back and fighting that adversity?
Yeah, it's tough. I think any injury is difficult to handle. But I think getting injured at the Olympics just added a whole nother layer to it. And so I think physically it's been difficult to get my ankle back on track just because I didn't necessarily take all the time I needed to heal properly. And so I think that set me back a little bit. But thankfully now I'm on a lot better path. And so I think the biggest obstacle was just mentally, how do you stay positive? How do you continue to want to be hungry to get better when you feel like there's not much you can do? And so I've relied a lot, again, on my teammates and the national team staff, and they've been really awesome to just continue to encourage me, continue to remind me of the player that I am and that I have the potential to be. And I think that's been huge to have that support system and also remind myself of what my values are. And, I want to be someone who's always hungry to get better. I always want to be a learner. And so I think when times get tough, I try to remind myself of those things because it sort of snaps me back and brings me back to center and reminds me of why I'm doing this. And I know it's not just for myself. I'm on this journey to show other people that they have the potential to do the same thing and to do greater than I'm doing. And so I think it's helpful to remind myself of those things.
A gold medal at the Olympics is pretty tough to beat. You got to walk, and get that gold medal put around your neck on August 8th, 2021, standing next to your teammates, holding hands. When you think back to that specific moment in time, what did that represent in your journey?
Oh my gosh, when I think back to that moment, it just, I couldn't stop crying. It was like something that I had dreamt of, but it came so much faster than I thought it would. And so to experience that moment and to experience it with the women that I was able to, I think it was so incredibly special and something that just a feeling that is like so once in a lifetime, you know? And so I was just so thankful to be able to be a part of that team, and to be a part of that experience. And so I don't know, it's just so crazy. It's something that I'll always remember so vividly in my mind.
It wasn't just any gold medal, though. It was the first in the history for U.S. women's volleyball. How do you think cementing your legacy with that team really could create a long-lasting growth in the sport of volleyball as a whole?
Yeah, I think, this program has been striving for that gold medal for so long now. And so to be able to have our first one, we're definitely hungry for more. And I think as a program and as individuals, we're not satisfied with where we're at. We always want to continue to grow and learn and get better. And so I think to be able to be a part of that experience, and learn from that experience and grow, I think I'm in that same headspace. I just want to get better. I don't want that to be a one-time thing. And so I hope that, I can continue to grow and also help others learn from my experiences and from where maybe I fell short, or where things could be done better. And so to sort of just continue to build on what this program has done so far, I think we're in a really good spot.
Where's your gold medal right now?
It's actually at home in Cincinnati. It's safe and locked up.
Yeah, where does one put an Olympic gold medal? I have no idea that, but that's good to know. Definitely keep that in a very safe spot. Speaking of being back home in Cincinnati, your husband Blake, back there, a former offensive lineman at the University of Cincinnati. How close did you follow the football season and cheer on the Bearcats this past year with the historic run they made?
Yeah, we were so excited about that. I mean, the guys were just doing absolutely amazing, and it was so exciting to see. And I know Blake was so excited because those are the guys that he played with, and so he was really cheering them on. And we had the opportunity to go to the game in Dallas, which was so much fun, just to finally be in person and cheer them on, and just support them. We were really proud of just what they did in such a historical season. And, it's just the beginning for that program as well. I think they've done some really amazing things, but they're definitely not done yet. So we're really excited about that.
The sport's clearly such a big part of your life, and so many young women, striving to follow in your footsteps, and follow in the footsteps of playing on the biggest stage. What advice would you give women watching this who want to reach their full potential in sports?
I think, as a woman in sports, sometimes it's really difficult to fully believe in yourself. And so I think, when you're at those points in your life where you're struggling to have that belief, find people who can, believe in you for you and share that with you and encourage you and pour into you. I think that's so important. I think back, through my early days in volleyball and the coaches that I had and the women that I had, just pouring into me and giving me confidence. And I think it really built something up in me where even if I wasn't able to see my potential at the time, I knew that there was something there, and it made me really hungry. And I always say, I want to be a sponge. I want to soak in all the feedback, all the advice, and learn from the experiences. And so I think for young girls, finding a really strong support system and people who can pour into you, and just being really eager to grow and learn and just be a sponge, be coachable, and continue to have really big dreams. Not necessarily like these small realistic dreams of where like, oh, I just want to, be the best hitter at this during this game or whatever. Like dream really big and really push yourself, because I think that's where the growth happens. And so I think that would be my advice for young girls.
Jordan, your advice, your story is really an inspiration, not just for people in sports, but really for everyone in life. We're all rooting for you here at The American. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.